Hello, and thank you for inviting me to speak today. President Asakawa, Governor Dominguez, and Executive Secretary Elise Jabana. It is a pleasure to join you and share thoughts on how governments and industry can work together to address the COVID crisis. While I wish we could gather in person, I'm grateful to the Asian Development Bank for creating the virtual space for these important conversations. I'm Jacquelline Fuller, and I'm president of Google.org, which is Google's philanthropy. I've worked in philanthropy and government service for several decades, starting my career with the Gates Foundation in India, and now today working on pulling together Google's resources and expertise to help solve some of the world's toughest challenges. This last year, my team has dedicated more than 100 million in Google.org grants, and our Googlers, our employees, rolled up their sleeves to provide more than 100,000 hours of pro bono work to help address the challenges that we have together faced as a global community due to the COVID crisis. The pandemic has led to so much loss of lives, of jobs, of time in school. Grappling with this loss takes its toll. But events like this, where we focus on solutions, make me optimistic. We're making real progress as a global community on a range of issues, and it's been inspiring to see so many Southeast Asian countries lead the way. As the Carnegie Endowment noted recently, the region has been characteristically resilient, providing models for the rest of the world around public health response, as well as business recovery efforts. But it's going to take all of us working together to make sure that the recovery is quick, comprehensive, and equitable for all. The topics that we're going to cover at this summit mirror many of the conversations we're having around Google. I'd like to dive deeper into two that have been at the heart of our work in the Asia Pacific region: rebuilding an economy that works for everyone, and harnessing data and technology in our response. So let's start by looking at rebuilding an equitable economy. Looking back at 2020, the data is jarring. 81 million people lost their jobs across the Asia Pacific region, and another 25 million could see their incomes shrink to poverty levels. So as we direct our attention back to recovery, we have to ask not only how do we get people back into jobs, but how do we use this moment to create and connect people to jobs that pay a living wage? One way is through supporting small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs. SMEs are the backbone of the Southeast Asian economy, but have been devastated by the COVID crisis. In fact, in the first half of 2020, 46% of SMEs in Southeast Asia shut their doors, and that's nearly twice the global average. While it's been a hard year for SME owners, technology has helped enable SMEs to continue to sell products online, even when their physical marketplaces are closed. In fact, 1 in 3 SMEs say that without digital tools, they would have had to close all or part of their business. So at Google.org, we've been really focused on low-income SME owners who have been the hardest hit. And through a range of initiatives, including the Go Digital ASEAN program that was developed by the Asia Foundation, we've supported SMEs across the region with the skills to take their businesses online. Supported by a $3 million grant from Oz, the Go Digital ASEAN program has provided more than 200,000 SMEs from rural areas the resources that they need to navigate this pandemic. It can be easy with big numbers to forget that there are real people, real stories behind these big numbers. So let's take a look at just one story. LaKayla is a fruit farmer and entrepreneur in Chiang Mai. When the pandemic hit, her business selling avocados suffered. So she decided to see what else she could sell. So thanks to the Asia Foundation, she learned how to go online and find how-to videos planting other fruits like mangoes and star apples. And she also learned how to take good photos and how she could market her fruit online. And by doing this, she was able to double her monthly income. So in addition to skills training, we're supporting SME owners from underserved communities with access to financial resources. For example, we worked with Kiva to develop a $10 million low-interest loan fund for SME owners in Indonesia to survive the pandemic. On top of these collaborations with groups like the Asia Foundation and Kiva, We've also created a one-stop shop known as Grow with Google, and that brings together all of our digital skills and resources online. And since 2015, more than 50 million people in Asia Pacific have been trained in digital skills through Grow with Google. And looking to the future, we will continue to find opportunities to work with governments to help workers and business owners to adapt and to create and connect to meaningful jobs. We also believe that technology can be a big part of the solution. Based on research that Google conducted recently with Bain, the COVID crisis has led to the biggest surge in digital adoption across Southeast Asia ever. There are 40 million new internet users across the region in the last year, and 8 out of 10 people in the region say that technology has helped them get through the pandemic. We're excited about this rise in access to connectivity, not just for individuals, but also for nonprofits, NGOs. Every day I hear from NGO leaders who have created new tech-enabled solutions to social challenges. But the thing that they're lacking is access to technologists to help them build and scale their idea. So at Google.org, we set out to address this gap by creating the Google.org Fellowship. It's our flagship volunteering program where our employees spend up to 6 months full-time embedding within nonprofits and helping them to build out their products and their new features and bring these to scale. In fact, just last year, we launched our first fellowship in Asia with Wadhwani AI in India. About half of people in India are dependent on farming for their income, but every year, about half of crops are destroyed by pests. The labor shortages that we've seen with the COVID crisis have worsened this problem, leading to disruptions in the food supply. Well, Wadhwani AI set out to address the problem of destruction of crops through an AI-based tool that allows small-scale farmers to manage pests. We initially supported their work with a $2 million grant as part of our AI Impact Challenge. And as their team hit the ground running, they needed additional support to help increase the accuracy and the scale of their model. So we sent a team of 9 Google.org fellows to help full-time for 6 months. By the end of summer 2021, we expect that over 250,000 farmers will be using Wadhwani AI's model. And early studies indicate that the insights generated by the tool will improve crop yield and farmer income by 25%. So this is just one example where we've seen promising technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning provide new solutions that can dramatically improve lives. Before I finish, I want to mention that earlier this month in India, we announced a Google.org Impact Challenge to provide $25 million in grants to nonprofits and social enterprises around the world who are creating pathways to prosperity for women and girls. Through this open call, we're going to support projects that empower women and girls to reach their full economic potential and to thrive. If you're part of an organization that is serving women and girls, we encourage you to apply by April 9th. Well, I want to thank you again for having me and for holding these very important conversations. We are grateful to be in this work together. Thank you.